The Fijians have yet again made it to another semi-final, and this time their challenger is Spain. On the other side of the draw, the Blitzboks going head-to-head with Australia. So 4 very handy sides in the semi-final, but only one will be the Vancouver Sevens champions. The Fijians, they have looked strong throughout their group stage, although suffering the one loss along the way. But in this preview, we will be looking through at those previous results, the key players to watch out for, and then also a prediction at the end for, I think, win this contest. But jumping into that group stage, the Fijians in their first match up against the French, they had to dig extremely deep. They scored some early tries, but the French were leading with 1 second remaining on the regular time clock. The Fijians managing to score and steal that game right at the end, 26 points to 21. They weren't so lucky in the next game up against Argentina, losing that one 17 points to 14. But then they came out absolutely firing after that loss, winning up against Australia, another side, through to the semi-finals, but beating them there 35 points to 14. So quite a statement made by Fiji at the end of day one. For Spain, they've gone a little bit under the radar throughout this competition. They had a tough game up against New Zealand, but they did manage to win it 12 points to 10. New Zealand missing their 2 conversions, Spain only missing the 1. So in the end, winning it by the 2 points. Their second game was up against South Africa, 28 points to 7. That was a pretty tough one for the Spanish team, but then beating Great Britain in their final group stage fixture, 10 points to 0 to book themselves a spot through to the semi-finals, and that was ahead of a side like New Zealand. So quite a statement made by the Spanish side. But looking through at the key players, Tario Vailawa, yet again showing exactly how dangerous he could be in that last game. Now, he did end up with a yellow card right at the end of it, up against Australia, but before that stage, he could have had 2 tries. He only claimed 1 for himself, gave the other to Daveta in a motion to try and make it a slightly easier kick for himself, but then also for himself, and it did work out as Fiji's goal-kicking accuracy throughout their match up against the Aussies was 100%. Alongside that, we saw the tries for Vui Viwa Nadovalo, who again is just scoring tries for fun. That man has reached 30 tries on the circuit now, and the competitions are not even over yet. And then alongside those two, someone like a Filippo Bucayaro, he really impressed me up against Australia in terms of that physicality that he was showing in the breakdown, and a couple crucial steals here up against Spain. Fiji can get a bit more possession, could find themselves controlling the tempo of the semi-final. For the Spanish, they have got a few very handy players across their lineup. You look at the bigger players, Saint Strapanga, Manu Moreno, but also someone like a Joseph Ceres just seems to get the work done out there on the field. Anytime you look around at a widespread of the Spanish team, you see him working, getting close to those breakdowns, looking for opportunities to get Spain the ball. And also they have got that experience back in Paul Pla, the captain, back at number 7 for Spain. He seems to have already brought an impact to the way the Spanish side has played, because recently they haven't been making too many semi-finals, yet you stick them back in with a couple other very talented players, and all of a sudden Spain are right back up the top where some would say they do belong. But now we are up to that stage of a prediction. Now, this one's relatively tricky because Fiji have had some great games up against Spain. They've also had some matches that they would prefer to forget about, in which the Spanish have really controlled the tempo and controlled the way that Fiji were able to play. On this 4G turf, it seems like all of the sides have had a little bit of trouble with offloading, but Fiji still, that natural offloading ability seems to be carrying them that little bit more than some of their opposition, and I think they'll use that to their advantage for the semi-final. So with that being said, I'm going to go 19-12 in favour of Fiji. I'd like to think it will be close and that Spain are up for the task, but in reality, it could also be somewhere around a 33-7. Perhaps Spain can only get on the board once. That is if Fiji come out like they did up against Australia and really do find their stride. But this game, it is kicking off at 9:55 a.m. New Zealand time on Monday morning. That'll be 8:55 a.m. for you guys in Fiji. We will be covering that match on the channel. So, of course, if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, let me know who you think will be winning this match. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.